Place called Clear Creek, and I think we're live. So, hello.
What's up, man?
This is Thomas, also known as Chewing Diamonds, and this is Darren, also known as More Precious Dust.
What's going on?
Not much, you know, just a chilly day in Colorado, snowing, about 4 degrees, and we're out here about to go driving some canyons. Bird up.
Golden State.
Golden
right?
Gate.
Golden Gate?
Golden Gate.
Oh, it's Golden Gate.
Golden Gate.
I've been there before too, and I didn't even know what it was called.
It's gonna be stupidly gorgeous.
Right, because the sun's out now.
Yeah.
It's kind of just started. This is perfect.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this actually, so this is gonna turn out just fine.
That's what I love about Colorado. It can be like, you know, precipitating, and the sun can still be poking out.
You know, that is kind of true. But, you know, it also is kind of a double-edged sword because, like, I mean, for me, I'll be at work and it'll be like, oh, wow, it's beautiful right now. And then 10 minutes later, oh, wow, it's fucking 30 degrees and it's windy all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I don't know. I still take it over New England from where I'm from, Rhode Island, because if it's an overcast day, it's an overcast day for 24 hours. You're not seeing the sun.
Same.
If it's raining, it's got to be raining all day. You're not seeing the sun. Where, you know, we get a lot of summer showers here in Denver. You know, the meteorological situation is so atypical because we're like plains, like basically running into mountains. So it's currents are all swishing around and really unpredictable.
Can we talk about meteorology? Actually, that's like a really cool subject that I like.
If you want to. Yeah, we can kick off with that. Yeah, I think that's going to be
so. Also, the geology of it is cool too, because you want to know why that happens, why we're plains and all of a sudden just mountains.
Mr. School of Mines over here.
So
he likes rocks.
Dude, I get my rocks off to rocks. I climb rocks. Let's be freaking real.
Yeah. He touches rocks all the time.
I touch rocks. I touch them all the time. I tie them up with ropes. I mount them.
Oh, you're into that fetish.
I mount them.
Yeah. Bondage.
I get tied to the rocks. So real story.
Yeah.
There is an active fault in Golden. Yeah, it's an active fault, and it's called, aptly named, the Golden Fault. You can see it. We're gonna drive by it. I mean, if I had a front-facing camera, I would point it out in the video when we go by it. But like, there's a fault in Golden. It hasn't been active for like a couple 10,000 years that we can't see in the, at least not that we're able to see in the rock record. Actually, no. In the past 10,000 years, it has been active. You can see it active in a. Actually, there was an excavation done by the Colorado Geological Survey that proved it was active in the last 10,000 years, and it was a site in like by Air Force Base actually where they dug the trench to prove it.
I guess I didn't really realize that faults could be active or dormant. I don't know, like a volcano.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like
I thought they were always moving, you know, ever so slightly, no matter what.
Well, in a sense, yes. I mean, there's negligible versus like, you know.
Okay, active as in like it could affect something.
Yeah, like
up at the surface, maybe.
Yeah, like a fault can be inactive by like it still might be getting stresses on it, but like, is it enough to cause any like seismic activity? Probably not. And I'd say the Golden Fault, if I were to make an inexperienced judgment call, because I've been out of school in academia for so long, I'd say that the Golden Fault probably borders on like the inactive side. Borders on it, but it's not quite.
Oh, who would have thought?
But it's active.
Probably one of the first of many new things I'm going to learn today.
Who knows?
Wonderful drive at what is it? Pretty much 8:24, 8:30 in the morning.
And we're getting
Valentine's Day, 2021. This is how we're spending it. Two dudes in a freaking automobile.
Hey, this is a Fiesta. It's not just a freaking automobile, it's a Fiesta, okay?
That is what you're calling these, huh?
Yeah, it's producers in a Fiesta.
And I'm a guinea pig.
Well, you're a guinea pig producer in a Fiesta.
Okay, alright. Just wanted to make that clear to everyone watching.
Darren is a guinea pig producer in a Fiesta. So, be prepared look at North Table right now.
What the fuck am I looking at?
It's just straight ahead, North Table, that mesa.
Oh, okay. Wow, yeah, it's just coming out of the fog there.
It's like tables of the mist.
We should talk like a lot about things that we see that the audience can't see.
We should. It'd be extra relatable.
And super relatable, super the high entertainment value, like high quality stuff right there.
I agree.
Riveting. I don't think people would be able to.
You know what's really
look away.
This isn't sarcasm, actually. I do have a camera that I don't have the ability to mount it right now because it's missing a magnet. But it does face forward. But in order to capture the video, I have to literally tell it to capture video, and I'd have to be like, hey Garmin, save the video. And it'd be like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll save the video for you, Thomas. But otherwise, it just doesn't. So, yeah.
Speaking of magnets, my boss told me a story that, he was hiring someone, and well, actually not my boss, the operations manager, hiring like a welder or something, and he said like the last requirement he needed to perform was to locate an aluminum magnet, which, for the audience, aluminum can never be magnetic, and so I thought that was kind of a dick move.
Locate and yeah, that's a dick move of a question. That's like
of a task.
Yeah, that's like a snipe hunt. Like you just, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's not gonna happen at all. And there's also what was it? That just reminded me of a good story, but I'm gonna totally forget about it, and so I'm gonna just glaze over and move on to the next subject that we'll talk about, which is computers. Because I recently just had to get a new one. Yeah,
you came over to the dark side, basically.
Yeah, I did join. I joined the Steve Jobs army again, and so I'm still of the opinion that a machine's a machine.
Sure.
Like
there are different degrees of quality of these machines.
Oh, absolutely. That could be said about anything. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and I would say if you were talking let's talk about a Macintosh versus I don't know, just like the bare bones Asus or Acer model of like a bare bones MacBook versus a bare bones Asus or whatever. It's kind of hard to compare the two because they're going to be two completely different price points. Like if you were to buy even in a $1,200 Acer or Asus, you're probably getting a really good machine.
Yeah.
And just as good as a MacBook Air, which is $1,200, isn't it? No, the $1,200 one's the introductory MacBook 13-inch Pro.
I think they're more. I mean, I'm not up on my Mac prices. As you know, my Mac is late 2011, and it's a freaking bull, and it's a cockroach as well. It just keeps surviving, and I love it. And the day I have to give it up is going to be a sad day indeed. But I also feel like I have to be anticipatory to that, because I want to make sure I have everything transferred, and I back it up all the time. But I'd rather not have it dead and have just everything on my terabyte external hard drive. I'd rather transfer it and be proactive in that. But I'm not looking forward to getting one of these new Macs. No USBs, though. I'm sure you have an opinion on that.
Oh, I do, and I was actually gonna say there's actually hope. It feels really good. It's a USB-C,
right?
And the dongles to adapt to 4 regular USBs from a USB-C, and also have an HDMI and a USB-C in through power, $30, dude.
Okay.
And you don't need the Apple one. Because USB-C and Lightning are one and the same. Apple's just we're going to call it Lightning because it has one extra pin, and it might do a little bit more, so we could patent it. And it's just USB-C is capable of damn near everything you need.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I'm glad that I feel USB-C has been around for a few years now, and I'm sure maybe it felt more limiting for the people who first got it right when it came out. So I'm glad I'm not going to need to deal with it until it's more universal, more well-established in the industry and whatnot.
So here's actually also good news. The reason why it's going to become exactly that very quickly is, if I remember right, and by the way, that's the sewage treatment plant, not my ass.
Yeah, wow.
So there's sewage treatment plant we just drove by, people who were watching at home. But anyway,
you're lucky this is not in 4D.
No, yeah, this is not in 4 dimensions. This is not one of those crazy Disney amphitheater fucking style movies. Yeah. But anyways, USB-C in the EU, I think, if I remember reading right, it's been passed that will become like a standard. Like everything is going to have like a USB-C charging port at minimum.
Okay.
So that means kind of every tech maker out there has to just like be like, well, we're gonna just make everything with USB-C now, even though it's not just the EU. You might as well.
So you did say the other day that you were liking the Mac, and you said it in kind of like a pleasantly surprised way. So like, what was that about?
I was expecting to have forgotten a lot more, and I was expecting them to be like a lot more like trying to be different for the sake of being different, which they are in a way still, but like they're not as much as I thought they would be.
I mean, they're trying to be different from PCs, but maybe...
But the thing is, they're not too different from PCs, which is why I don't mind it. Like, that's why I'm actually like, I kind of like this a lot more than I thought it would, because I'm noticing that it's become a lot more like a PC than it used to be. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so maybe I'm ignorant to that, because I think my Mac, it's a computer, it has files, it has like, the organization is semi-similar, but there are a lot of little nuances of the UI that are different.
That
if you
is
don't,
very true.
If you don't know, you can get frustrated pretty quick. And I don't know if like these new Macs are very different from Macs from my era. I'm talking like I'm a grandpa, right? Back in my day, or when the Macs were like this, and like you can. Anyways, but back in 2011 versus now.
I had a 2008 MacBook, right? And I had it until like 2012 when I got my new computer. New computer that had just died because it was 10 years old. It was a great machine, and it still is a great machine. I bet you I could still make it run somehow if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. Oh, hey, look, another Fiesta, not a Fiesta SD, but a Focus SD. Cool. Brother!
Yeah, I mean, like, I've told you this before, that I just swear by the Macs just based on my experience with the one I have. Like, It's never crashed. I had to replace the video card once. And so, all my music is on there. And once again, I back it up, but it's just like the reliability of having, files in my music that I put so many hours into.
Did you see this dude? He just literally drove me off the lane.
Yeah, whatever. That, I feel like if I bought a PC, like in 2011, I would be on my 3rd PC by now. And, you probably have a slightly different opinion on that because you built your own computer, so, but I don't have the capability to do that, so.
Oh, it's so much easier than people think.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just don't have the motivation.
Background information. The reason why I went Mac this time instead of a PC, I wanted to build my own PC again. And again, nothing wrong with Mac, they're great machines, and nothing wrong with PC, they're great machines. Both of them have merits, both of them has cons. But what's really awesome about a PC is you can literally get under the hood and physically work on things, and also build it, literally physically build it yourself. Macs, you used to be able to do that back in the 2000s. I don't think you can. You'd come even close anymore.
Right, yeah. I mean, I can take out my bottom panel and see inside, but yeah, I don't think you can do that to current Macs. Not in such an intuitive way as threads, just unthreading something.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but my 08 one literally had latches built into it to open shit up and replace RAM and stuff in the hard drive. That one was cool. That's when I was like, all right, cool, Mac.
Yep, I updated my RAM in mine as well. I feel like mine, maybe 2013, that kind of went by the wayside.
Probably.
Yeah, I feel like if you look under yours, you're not going to see screw heads.
I think I do see screw heads. I mean, to be fair, they're the ones that are meant to intimidate people. They're torque screw bits, so they're the little star bits that everyone sees.
That.
Oh my god, I can't work on that. Yes, you
can. Their
interface
is atypical. It's I've never seen a screwdriver.
Yeah, it's just that's just a torqued bit. Get over yourself. But man, some people get intimidated by working on things.
Yeah, I mean, and not that I like talking about cars too much, but I will comment that newer cars, they're harder to work on. They don't want you to work on them. They don't even want you to change your own tires anymore.
I will strongly disagree. Okay, depending on the car.
Depending on the car,
Depending on the car. You get yourself a Mercedes, you're probably gonna have a bad time. But like, I'm totally gonna pass this person here in a bit. But like, yeah, like this. What was I gonna say? This car, for example, like super easy to work on. I've removed the entire front end before, like over a day.
I just remember my friend having a car and he needed to change a tire, and there were no instructions on how, and of course no jack, no tooling.
Well, well, yeah, but you should. Well, okay, here's maybe snobby, presumptuous personal opinion, but you don't need instructions to change a tire, in my opinion. That's just super easy. It's unbolting, it's unscrewing some lug nuts.
Sure, but like, I'm just commenting on the fact that they were absent, so the manufacturer does not want you to do that anymore.
Oh yeah, maybe, or maybe it was.
I'm not saying it's not physically possible.
It could have been a real estate issue, because some cars don't have the real estate to put the jack in like the spare wheel. Some cars, seriously,
yeah,
like
maybe.
And again, like, I bet you money you buy a Ferrari and there's not like a fucking spare tire in it. You know what I mean? Like, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about other things. They're thinking about, okay, we're making a piece of art, like, fucking this thing, we gotta make it spicy and make it look like a poster car, like fucking, this is okay. I can say these things because I'm Italian.
Yeah. Well, I can't recite the little Italian jingle.
I don't even know how to speak Italian. I just know Italian.
Yeah,
I know. But like, I can speak Espanol.
You definitely look Italian.
I look Italian.
Olive skin.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Tan very easily.
Yeah. But anyways, enough about fucking cars.
Although I could talk about cars forever, and you know that.
I know that. That's why I'm putting a stop to it. Even though I did bring it up, but like now I'm staunching it out.
Now you're just like, I shouldn't have done this.
No, highly regretful.
But back to Macs and PCs.
Yeah.
Like, I truly do think that both, like, if you get yourself a PC that's of the build quality of a Mac, it's going to cost the same as a Mac, and you're going to probably like it as much as a Mac. Like, you just don't want to try it because it doesn't have the sex appeal of a Mac. Like, Macs, that's the thing I'm discovering about, like, just recently having gotten a new one. Like, people are like, oh my god, that's a hot rod of a computer. It's just like, it's really not, though. The internal components, they're good. They're not like fucking, like, they're not like an AMD Ryzen core, though. Like, it's those things, like, if I had that, yeah, I have a hot rod. Like,
yeah, but I mean, it's about, like, appealing to the masses,
yeah, it's a bell curve thing.
Right, are as,
it's about the
tech
premium,
savvy or like mechanically savvy,
It's about the premium experience. It's about the premium unboxing experience.
It's about the look. We're a society that cares about looks. We are superficial to the max.
Literally to the max.
Oh yeah, totally.
Max and Tasha's.
Oh, I didn't even intend to do that.
Yeah.
Next time I do it, I'll intend it. But
you should intend.
That time it did not.
Oh my god. I love computers in general. I used to be really way more savvy into them. And that's why I don't think you can catch me talking just flat out shit about either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I don't know, maybe you remember different things, but I don't feel like I remember ever like straight up trashing Macs. Like, I would give them shit, but like, I
mean, I still consider them pretentious in their way. Like, I feel like they're not as user friendly, but I've gotten over that, of course.
PCs or Macs?
Macs.
Oh, you don't think they're as user friendly?
I don't. I mean, just based on, once again, going back to the point I made earlier, where there are a lot of little nuances from the UI that are different, and because PCs are more widely used in businesses and whatnot, so everyone knows how to use a PC, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone knows how to use a Mac, so when someone approaches it and they're like, why is this different? Why is that different? It's just UI stuff. It doesn't need to be different. Mm-hmm. So if there is this air of pretentiousness that some people get with Macs, they got to be in the right situation to get it, but it's definitely there.
Yeah, very true. I think that, I think one of the big things is also, like, Well, actually, that whole point is really counterintuitive and awesome at the same time, because the big thing that people talk about with Macs, their biggest argument is like, it's the ease of use. It's amazing. Like, it's just
I guess I don't hear that much.
That was used to be like the main big point, like, that everyone would tell me about. I mean, you can talk to Ben. He's
that's some marketing right there.
Yeah,
then. That's some marketing.
That's some like clever ass like marketing if they're able to pass that shit on, because like I don't think it's true at all. Like,
right. I think my PC at work as like I've never had a more intuitive machine as far as just navigating it and whatnot. There's still parts of my Mac that I have trouble navigating if I'm doing something semi-new on it, or like, where is this file located? What I have to go? I have to do this, and I don't know. But I just needed to hold my music.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like, they're great music machines. I'll give it that. Like, getting all my files into like the file organization method, like, because I don't know which one I would consider more like kind of jumbled up, but like the way that Ableton stores all of its files around your computer on PC and also Mac are both kind of just like, they seem kind of like, yeah, there's some here, there's some there, yeah, it kind of makes sense where they're going, you can kind of logic it out. Like,
I had to dig to update my metronome.
Yeah,
like, yeah, I had to look it up, and it was like in a very non-intuitive spot. The two files, you have the so two noises. I replaced it with a single hi-hat. I kind of wish I had a higher hi-hat as well, but the point is, it's just a much more easily listenable sound as opposed to that kind of like ding, boop, 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 that beat, that high-pitched ding. Yeah. It's like,
sounds like a car door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the door dinger.
Yeah, I don't know why that's the default, but
they should make the default like Gordon Ramsay, like going like fuck, shit, fuck, shit. Just Gordon Ramsay specifically, like, because you're cooking up them beats, son. Like, you're in your beat kitchen. You need to have Gordon Ramsay just inspiring you to not be a piece of shit.
I mean, imagine if he was like running like an Ableton training course. And, it'd be
you absolute muppet!
Yeah.
Why are you putting reverb on a bass note?
Why are you padding the kick?
Oh my god.
Hilarious.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think Gordon Ramsay should be a rap artist. I think we should have him be a rap artist.
I like my Ableton training course a little better.
I'm not saying that. No, I'm well now. I'm okay. Yes, I was saying that Gordon Ramsay should teach people how to, do Ableton. Now I'm saying Gordon Ramsay should straight up just like, make beats.
That'd be goofy. Well, he can make beats, but to rap over them, that'd be goofy for him to do. I can't picture that. But,
well, maybe that's the appeal of it.
Yeah, it'd be goofy.
Maybe it would be. Who knows? Maybe it'd suck.
It would.
Do you think it would? Like, is there a particular? Well, okay, obviously, beside it being just like some kind of very food-oriented, random-ass white dude, tall-ass lanky guy, not being able to rap and trying to put down beats.
Besides all of those barriers, I think it would be amazing.
Besides all the fundamentals that would make a good rapper.
Yeah.
Well, he has the creativity, though, clearly.
I mean, yeah, in culinary arts.
But his art.
I mean, just because you have creativity in one form of art, I mean, I guess he has a skill in culinary arts as well. Maybe that's the way to put it. Where like, yeah, I realize that if you are very creative in one thing, you also happen to have the skill and you're good at it, you can be creative probably right off the bat with another form of art, but the skill's not going to be there. I feel like if I took up painting, and I painted every once in a while in my life, like, my painting would be creative. It still could be creative and yet, like, not good, Like, it wouldn't be boring, but it also wouldn't be like, yeah, you need to, your technique needs to improve, dude.
So, this brings up another question that, like, Diego and I talked about. Now, I have a feeling I know your answer, but I have to ask. does electronic music have soul? And by soul, I mean compare it to jazz. Compare it to a fucking freeform solo on a jazz, like just any jazz song.
Okay, well, I guess, first of all, I think that's a pretty...
It's kind of a loaded question.
It's definitely loaded. It's definitely wide sweeping.
Mhm.
But I also have to ask you to elaborate. I mean, when you say electronic music...
predominantly without recorded...
Okay, right.
Instruments.
So no like live instruments, like you're not gonna hear sax or
like
violin.
I will say you should include even vocal songs though, songs with vocals on them.
Sure.
But like not really like recorded. Like I'm not talking. I mean, even like now that I think about it, I'm thinking about like dramatic and like stuff like that, and I still don't feel like I'd consider that to have too much soul.
Well, okay. Well, but would you consider that electronic music for the base of the question? Because Grammatic has a lot of live instrumentation. So I thought we were saying
but
no.
They're all samples.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, but those but the samples were recorded by someone. So
like in the 20s. Like they're like they're royalty-free samples that he's using.
Yeah, that's fine. But I think like I would argue that has soul, but I think that it isn't going. That's kind of overstepping the essence of your question. Let's compare like a jazz lick or jazz standard, whatever, obviously played live, to what's that song that I like of yours, that with the vocals, the female vocals? Hold me down, hold
oh, it's the remix I did of a song that's not mine.
Yeah,
I know which one you're talking about, though. No,
well,
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
So let's base the question. Let's be more specific on the question. That song specifically, does that have soul the way like a live jazz standard has soul? And I want to remember the name of the song.
The Longest Road.
Longest Road.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay. And I would say yeah. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm probably saying yeah, mostly because of the vocals, which you said to include. So on that sense, yes. But now if we move even deeper and take a song that's, musically, instrumentationally like that, electronic, synths, all digital, computerized, generated sounds, without vocals, I don't know if we can think of a good song that we both know off the top of our head. I don't know, like all the Deadmau5 stuff, and I would say less so, as far as the soul question goes. But then I would also, there's so many layers to this, I would also placate that by saying that soul is such a subjective concept, and it's so different for every person. And maybe it comes down to the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of Deadmau5, like you are. So what do you think, like, your favorite Deadmau5 song that doesn't have lyrics, whatever that might be?
No soul.
Do you think it had, okay.
No soul.
Okay.
And
I commend you for that.
I would think that, like, you can smear that answer to a pretty non-varying degree across all electronic music.
Okay.
Because I don't think you can put soul into an electronic music. It's too calculated and like just synthetic in its nature, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's bad at all. I'm not.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like I don't feel like electronic music should inspire like these just soul wrenching just. I don't feel like it should or has the capacity to do that, and I'm not saying that's bad. I think it has the capacity to inspire action, though. Like, it can make you dance easier. It can make you, like, kind of move easier. It's easier to count to a beat and, like, make a good time out of it. Like, but, like, compared to, like, an 80s rock ballad, like, no, there's not much soul, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't need it.
Right,
That's not the point of it.
Yeah,
it's a very different purpose.
It seems like the definition of soul we're talking about is something that is more specific versus another definition that could be less specific. Meaning like live, you can hear like the feeling that the vocalist has or the instrumentalist has in his music, and you can almost sense, it's palpable that their energy is flowing out of them into whatever sound they're creating.
Yeah, because there's
like,
a very live and in the moment thing.
Yeah,
this
like electricity in the air.
Well, yeah,
this you're in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Like whether it's the studio or the venue. Like the thing is with live instrumentation, there's like a certain like there's a in the moment sensation that you get when you're playing an instrument that you're just like connected to it and you just don't even have to think about playing it. You just know what you're playing. Versus like electronic music, which you can make live. You can, like, you just have like a big old arrangement of synthesizers and like, you know, a sample board and stuff, and like you could be one dude and he can be doing a really good job of making a whole song live.
RJD2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Totally. And so I guess what I want to search for now is like, say if that type of music doesn't have soul in the definition we've made for it during this conversation, that it still has a feeling. It still gives you a feeling of, you know, enjoyment. Is there another word that we could use for that?
Endorphins.
I mean, sure. I feel like that's pretty biologically based.
Yeah.
As opposed to soul, you know, not being... Like, soul is ethereal, and I guess I was hoping we could find another word like that doesn't mean quite as much, but could still be a... Maybe there isn't one.
I think it's just pure endorphins. There's like a difference between like feeling the soul, which is like also you're getting like, I don't know, what's the other chemical that's more like a love feeling? Serotonin. You're probably getting more serotonin even from like, you know, like more like acoustic and like emotional instruments being played. Like,
yeah.
But like, just pure electronic music is probably just all fucking endorphins and adrenaline. Like,
yeah.
I don't see it being much else, honestly. Like, they're really just, I mean, unless like there's probably like drugs involved or something. I bet you there's...
Well, if there's drugs involved, then the endorphins and the serotonin are off the charts.
Exactly.
Like someone on MDMA.
Yeah. Love everything.
Yeah. Oh my God. Give me a hug.
Just hugs and hugs.
I guess I'm a little surprised at your overall answer to the soul question as it relates to electronic music, based on the fact that you write purely electronic music. You're like kick, 808, serum, straight sound design, saw waves, triangle waves, sine waves, and we're very different as that goes. So yeah, no, I guess I'm surprised at your answer overall. I
mean, I just feel like everything is so calculated and engineered, in my opinion, the way I make songs. Like, and really, when it comes down to the composition and everything, I'm more or less just throwing shit at a wall, you know, like, and then just kind of like throwing chord progressions at it.
Yeah, but I mean, do you say like, even though throwing shit at a wall like seems erratic, but do you say you still do that somewhat within a formula?
Yeah.
Like you know, you're compartmentalizing. All right, I'm throwing shit at a wall for this, and then I'm throwing shit at a wall for that. But you always do it in that order, or you know what I mean? Is there like a formula underlying things?
So I guess typically, like, I mean, the way I think about it is like, sometimes I start with a melody, sometimes I start with like a percussion and and the beat. And lately I've been trying to start with the beat more because I'm trying to make more beat-centric songs. And I feel like whatever you start with, you're probably going to make that the star of the show because that's what you're thinking about the most, and then you're kind of just literally building the rest of the song around it.
Yeah, it does tend to be that way, huh?
Yeah.
Not all the time, but I totally can see what you're saying.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I probably just lately have been focusing mostly extremely on just beats.
Yeah.
And then like the beat of it and everything, and then building a melody and structure around it, which works out pretty decently. I think it's working out in terms of making more beat-centric songs.
Yeah.
And it's still fun. I mean, the way that I think about it too is, especially with the type of music I make, which is very like house and like a lot of house, and then like, I don't know like what style you'd even call res still. I keep on just like describing it as like really res like music, but like really I just kind of like scroll down to the BPM she's using and kind of just send it with that. Because I don't feel like a lot of other artists use her BPM very often.
Which is what?
I think it's like it's like, oh shit, what was it, like 80 something, like, but like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. It's like very like shit. I don't know. I haven't made like a one in her style for like a minute, I feel like.
Yeah. Because when I make a song like at that low of a BPM, like I'm like, where you're like,
yeah.
So my songs tend to be slower. Like for example, that remix of Ain't No Sunshine was at 90.
Yeah.
Ain't no sunshine when
that was a really good remix.
Thanks. Yeah, one of the more things I'm proud of that I've done. I mean, because the song is bare bones. You've got some strings that come in at the end, which complement what I was doing nicely. And I recorded my friend like soloing a guitar and chopped that up. Wrote the piano, wrote the horns, and then they had that like beatbox breakdown at the end. So I actually ended my really good friend's Mel and Jake's wedding with that song, within that version. So she's like, could you play like a version of that song? I was like, all right, I'm gonna play my version. And yeah, sorry to get off on a tangent of that song, but
fucking unacceptable.
It is funny where like BPMs can be, I don't know if interchangeable is the word, you know, like 90 can mean different things to different people, you know, based on whether you're going halftime or double time. You know what I'm saying?
I'm knowing what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm scooping what you're pooping.
So I've been trying to hone in on like a more narrow BPM range. I think, so, you know, for those who aren't familiar with my music, I'm very much sample based, which, you know, is in contrast to Thomas here. And when I first started out 10 years ago, my music would be erratic. And when I say erratic, I mean eclectic to a fault. Like, I'd have slow songs down at 65, I'd have fast songs at 130, and if I ever played live, it wouldn't flow. It would be too much swing between the vibes. And I've learned to hone that down in various ways, of course, not just BPM-wise, but from an instrumentation standpoint. But speaking of BPM, I've honed down to like between 110 and 130. Doing a lot of 130 lately. I played some 130 at the last, what do you call it? At Diego's. Not Diego's, I'm sorry, at Damien Pipes.
The showcase thing?
The showcase, yeah. So yeah, I've been trying to narrow it down.
Yeah,
a little more cohesion in my sets.
That's really easy for me because progressive house is pretty much just like like 125, 128.
And I feel like the transitions are easier for you too.
Oh my god, they're so easy.
Oh yeah, mine are not, because even if I have two songs in the same BPM and in the same key, or maybe like a fifth apart, so the transition would still sound good. They still sound very different. So I don't know. I gotta work on the transitions a little more.
Yeah, that's like the hardest part, like making that shit sound like really fun and natural. Like making it a catchy ass new song in its own. There's something to be said about being able to do that really easily and on the fly.
Yeah.
And it definitely lends to itself when you have nothing but 128 and like 4/4.
Yeah.
But it does kind of get screwy when you're throwing polyrhythms like I do. Like it gets a little screwy. Not terribly, but just enough where you kind of have to think about it, and then you're kind of like, wait a minute, this has a dotted eighth here, and trying to play that with like a regular ass, like, you know, 16th arpeggiation. And it ends up working and it sounds decent, but it's also like, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where like sometimes I'll write a transition into a song.
Yeah.
Basically, one song, you know, starts out some way, and then there's a certain point where it changes, and it sounds like a different song, but it's still one track, it's still under one name. So I do that sometimes, for better, for worse.
Yeah, I definitely do that. I mean, you've noticed like how long of a lead in and how long of an outro a lot of my shit has, and it's typically just the beat of it.
Yeah.
Like that's the purpose of it. It makes it better for DJing, and like, you know, it's you know, you got to make your life easy for yourself when you're about to play live on something, because
Yeah.
I mean, especially you're doing enough, like, so I gotta give it. I give live performers that are like playing like acoustic or like electric instruments, where like they have some crazy balls at minimum, you know, because they're like, when I saw Muse playing live, holy shit, talk about a perfect production and perfect show. And there are so many things that could go wrong, but like they're just like this group of professional, classically trained you know, artists that you just give them a guitar and a set of drums and like, you know, some synthesizers, and they're just like, we're gonna do this perfectly every time forever.
Yeah.
Because they're that good. But like,
But they're that good, but they're that good because they're that practiced.
yeah, they're super practiced, and like, I mean, there's something to be said about like being really practiced at DJing, because it shows.
Oh yeah.
It just, in my opinion, it doesn't take as much practice. I mean, you got
No, not as much, but I mean, it's still like, I play better shows now than I did when I first started.
Exactly.
Playing shows,
I mean, exactly, and part
still
of it.
things to learn.
Well, there's probably a big part of it is you know, you and I both, as we continue, we get better at composition, and then realizing what it takes to make a good show at the same time and play a crowd. There's one thing about playing music, there's another thing entirely about playing a crowd.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And that's what you learn as you get older. Like you know, maybe if you're getting good, like you start to learn that you have to play the crowd. Because I mean, you can have the best music in the world, but if a crowd's not buying your performance, then it doesn't matter at all.
Right, and that kind of plays into what I was talking about earlier with like some of my songs not flowing together. Like I play like a song that's fast and dancey, and then I play like a song that's slower and maybe groovy, and maybe I think is a wonderful song, you know, but it doesn't connect with people as much. I know I saw an interview with Blockhead talking about this, that just like, you know, you hate to succumb to this realization, but people like faster music live. Like they'll listen to slower stuff, you know, in their house on their bed, vibing with their headphones on, but I don't know, you just gotta have more energy live.
Yeah, it's all about energy and carrying energy live. That's the whole point of like also being a good DJ. You have to, I mean, dude, when you're being a DJ, like you're basically there to just get people laid, like literally.
Yeah.
Like we are professional wingmen. Just, you know, no one will just, you're wingmen, but it's kind of just like this relationship. You don't even have to talk to each other. It's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna play some music, make you dance with some chicks, you know, and then hopefully you two, you know, get a spark going or something. Really would be the hope, because then, you know, like
Fun way to think about it.
Yeah, because I mean, if someone's like, you know, like if you're able to inspire that much of a good time, like with people, they're gonna remember you, and they're gonna be like, man, that more precious dust guy, man, like that was a good night. And
yeah,
you just kind of like, I mean, you could become a permanent memory too. It's like there's an entire possibility of that. So you got to try and make some shit special, because people are paying money to come like to the bar or to the club and like, you know, come have a good time. Like you kind of have a moral obligation to do something about it. You know what I mean?
Because they'll remember if they had a bad time.
They'll remember if they had a good or bad time.
Right, but they might remember the bad time more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which will affect the club's performance too.
Yeah, but well, that's a good transition though, because you mentioned my stage name, which is kind of an atypical name. Some people have questions about what that means and where I got it, so I just figured I'd take a moment to explain it. It's oxymoronic in the sense that we're precious dust. You know, I first of all, some people think it's a drug reference, which I hate.
And it totally is.
It's totally not. No, it's totally not. The dust I refer to is us, what we're made of, and whether you want to consider that stardust, or whether you want to consider that like the dust we end up back to with the earth, you know, like that's precious, quote unquote, but there's so much of it because we're all made out of it, and the trees are made out of it, and the earth is made out of it, that there's just more and more of it. So that's what I mean when the more and the precious is oxymoronic. So that's where that name comes from. And I did want something atypical and whatnot. But, and then, you know, the acronym is fine, like MPD. I've kind of been embracing that more too. Kind of like AFI. Like, do you know what AFI stands for?
No.
And like maybe you didn't even realize it stood for something.
Yeah.
It stands for a fire inside.
Oh.
Yeah, just, and you know, I don't mind if like my meaning gets lost over time and it's like MPD, more precious dust. Like, oh, that's what it stands for, huh? So figured I would just take that chance to explain that to the audience and to like the 2 people watching this.
I would give it maybe 3. Come on, let's be real. We're not that boring.
No, I don't. No, I'm not saying we're boring. I'm just saying you know, we have a lack of marketing skills.
You know, we just got. I know what sells. You know what sells?
Yeah.
Sex sells.
Yeah. Well,
We need to start selling some skin.
yeah. Well, that's not happening right now in this car.
I mean,
I know it's Valentine's Day, but
come on, man. It's Valentine's Day. We're in the mountains. It's a beautiful day.
you know, speaking of circling back to meteorology, the weather got amazing. It's blue sky out. It was snowing and like white.
Still 11 degrees.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's
neither here
that's
nor
not
there.
going to change today.
Yeah, like 11 degrees, whatever. You know, I can deal with it.
We're all made of stardust, but your rent is still due next week.
Don't do what?
Your rent is still due next week.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Unfortunately. Why must we have to pay for rent?
So I saw that Output. I follow, you know, the company Output that makes a lot of plugins and whatnot. I follow on Instagram. They, you know, I have a few of theirs. They make a lot of my, I don't know, I guess I call them sample packs. They're more like, you know, digital instruments like Exhale, which is like a vocal-based instrument with a lot of presets. I have analog brass and strings. I have analog brass and winds, and then analog strings. All amazing. I can't recommend them highly enough. And I also have Movement by them, which is a really cool plugin, and I actually use that pretty much on every sample that the most recent Beat Cypher gave out. Sleeves. So, you know, if you're watching the sleeves, that's what I use to make pretty much that entire song. But they also make some hardware. They make desks, and I think they have some keyboards and whatnot. But I just saw they came up with their first monitors, and they're called Frontier. And I'm just like I got my KRKs, my nice blue holiday special. I got them years and years ago when I still lived in Rhode Island, and you can't get them anymore. So that's cool. One of them is the plug is kind of getting a little jangly. You got to put them just right. But my ultimate point to this long spiel about Output and their new monitors is that the criticality of monitors to what we do has really dropped off for me, like tremendously.
Yep.
You know, it's really very true that your room has to be treated quite well for you to be able to mix properly on monitors. And I spent too many years mixing primarily on the monitors, and my mix is paid for it, definitely. And so now I mix pretty much exclusively on my Sennheisers, because I like, one, you know, I'm very used to their sonic landscape, where if my monitors are in one room versus another room, that's a different sonic landscape that I'm hearing, that I'm not used to, even though I may not know I'm not used to it, so that's even worse. And you know, don't, like, once I mix, I get most of the mixing done, so I'm playing on my monitors the same way you come into your car and you listen on your car, then you listen on your tiny But yeah, like if I was giving advice to someone starting out and, you know, maybe they did their own research, like, oh, I need some good monitors. I'd be like, no, man, get some good headphones.
Yeah.
Primarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Uh-huh.
The headphones are important. I mean, there's something to be said about headphone fatigue. So I would say have like a set of monitors, not expensive ones, but have not even monitors. Have a set of just speakers you like. Like it could be just like a little 2.1 computer speaker setup like I use.
Right.
Just to give you the flavor of what specifically it gives you the flavor of what like the average listener will be listening to. Like,
right. And the average listener won't have monitors.
No, they won't at all. Like they won't have a sound treated room. They won't have shit. So like if you're able to get your mix to sound good on like some decent speakers, and you're probably golden, dude.
Yeah, no. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't use monitors as a reference point, and there is such a thing as headphone fatigue. I would say, you know, that's kind of just mainly mixing fatigue, regardless of...
Yeah.
And maybe it happens quicker on headphones because they're right up against you.
That's what I would argue.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Sure, totally. And, you know, of course, one way to combat that is you always mix at a low volume. Like, and once again, turning it up is another way to reference, like, oh, what if someone listened to this, you know, in a higher volume? Okay, and then be like, all right, and then go back and turn it back down and maybe fix what you heard. But, yeah, so that's a way to combat fatigue.
Yeah, there's that. You could also, you know, I don't know, just take advantage of those, like, you know, regular ass speakers you got, and use those for like, you know, your kind of high level work where you're not, you know, where you're not trying to get into the nitty gritty of the mix and master, but like you're just trying to compose and get like the sound to where it needs to be ish.
Right, ish,
like,
totally.
Yeah, like, and then you can avoid like, you know, all the fatigue of using your headphones 24/7, and then once you get it like to the point where you're ready to like nail it down, then you switch to your headphones, and then you're like, all right, oh yeah, look at these Montañas.
They're very nice.
Man, these Montañas.
Very nice. And yeah, and you're totally right. And once you get to that point, you should be making just like subtle tweaks and whatnot.
Yeah.
Say you start out and you're mixing on your headphones and you've got a couple of instruments going on at once, and like everything sounds pretty good from a macro perspective, and then you put it on your like little Bluetooth speaker and you realize that one instrument you can't even hear. And you're like, all right, well, definitely got to go back and make a large change to that. And then you do that a few times, back and forth, whatever, and sounding pretty good on a small Bluetooth speaker, then you'd be a little more surgical.
Yeah.
With your tweaks from there on out. That's kind of how I figure it should be.
Yeah, I mean, if you get your stuff sounding good on like a Bluetooth speaker, not like a little dinky shitty one, but like, you know, or a dinky shitty one.
Or like a medium size, you know.
Yeah, like a one that you'd like to listen to on your own that's not going to sound like absolute garbage.
Right, one that you like to listen to recreationally.
Ones that's, you know, not like just basically a phone, but bigger.
Yeah, right.
Know? Like, so, yeah, you want to get multiple points of reference. Like, you know, oh, damn, those Montañas right ahead.
I like them.
I like them too. But yeah, back to music, like, yeah, just multiple points of reference, get more data, more and more data.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things is like the high end of the kick. Like, you know, because a lot of Bluetooth speakers, they're not going to have as low of a sonic spectrum down to like 0 hertz or like below 20. And some, like, you know, don't even dip below 100 sometimes. So if you want your kick to, you know, kick even on something small like that, you gotta think about the high end. Same with like a bass, like the low mids of like a slap bass are important for someone who might not have like a great system and their low end is not of quality or sometimes just doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know what, it's kind of tough. Like, I find that part especially tough. I mean, I don't know how I'm able to really achieve like a decent mix with that at all, because that part's really hard for me, because I don't really think about shitty sound systems when I'm making music. I kind of just happen to land upon them, like, okay, yeah, sure, this will sound decent on anything now. Like, I don't, because It is really tough to get like a crisp, good sounding mid frequency, like for your kick and your bass, without it adding like crowding and muddiness to like the rest of the mix.
So I hear that the Mac speakers, you know, like the straight, you know, built-in speakers, have a little more low end than say like mine does.
Okay.
But and you know, we can confirm that later. And so I guess I'm curious if that's true. One,
I did notice that the low end on this new machine is pretty decent.
Right. So you definitely would want your kick to be able to be heard on that.
Yeah. I mean, you want it heard. It's not like you can expect it to be quote unquote felt.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it won't be felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you want the. It would kind of get
impulse.
Yeah, you want the impulse. It would kind of get close to a snap at that point. Not quite, but you know what I mean. It's like
You'd hear the whap.
the whap. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Definitely.
The whap. You know, that thing that Cardi B sings about. It's actually a drum.
Fucking Cardi B. She sucks.
I don't know.
I'm a
Like,
Nicki Minaj guy.
I think that both of them are like, you know, different side of the same coin.
I mean, well, yeah, obviously they're very comparable, and that's why I just brought her name up. So compare them.
But in terms of persons, I think I'm with you. I think Cardi B is a better, not Cardi B. Who was it? Nicki Minaj.
Well, and you know what, like, made me think Cardi was just an idiot? She was thinking of naming her new album Green Jacket. And I don't know if she did or not, but it basically a reference to Tiger Woods getting, like, you know, winning the Green Jacket in whatever stupid fucking golf tournament you get that from. You know, after coming back
Isn't that the
from
Masters?
Is it? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't really golf.
And you know, like, she's saying, like, it was a sign of a resurrection because he went so down in the gutter, and, you know, and now he's back and whatnot. And, well, he went. Do you remember what he went down in the gutter for? He was like, you know,
I'm addicted to sex.
yeah, right. And he was just like a horrendous husband.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you're gonna name your album after that? Like, I don't know. I just didn't think she thought it through. I don't think she meant anything by it. I just think she's an idiot.
Why does Tiger Woods mean shit to her?
I don't know.
Like, I think those two must have had a little something going on.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
And who knows? I'm sure Nicki Minaj has done some things that people could call dumb. Most artists have.
Most people have.
Yeah. I just remember that one about Cardi B sticking out to me, and I was like, okay. But enough Cardi B bashing.
It is -10 right now.
Really?
Yeah. Negative.
Whoa, yeah. That is. Yeah, that's a little frosty.
Yeah. Although that was refreshing, opening that window briefly.
Yeah.
Definitely nobody on that little lake right now.
Yeah.
Normally when I drive by here, there's like, you know, people out there fishing.
Yeah, it's definitely thick enough to to do whatever you want. Huh?
Oh yeah, you could probably drive a car on that right now.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to, but
No.
like ice fishing up in the lakes in Wisconsin, you'd see trucks on there all the time.
Yep.
Not so much anymore though. Snowmobiles, you see those a lot.
They would be fun.
Snowmobiles are a blast, but they're sketchy. Because if those roll, they weigh a lot.
Yeah, and I had some friends who, like, and I want to do this, they paid for like a snowmobile tour, and they said like being the driver was really fun.
Yes.
But if you're ever like the passenger, like straddling someone, they said it was strikingly less fun.
No, it's way less fun, dude. I've done both.
Okay, I haven't done either, so.
So, you know what's something that we got to do sometime is, I'd say this year, but next year or maybe later on in fall, once, you know, things are not as friggin' COVID-y. Like, just, it's not that I'm afraid of the virus, I'm more just, like, annoyed with, like, dealing with the technicalities, so might as well wait and then be safe at the same time, I guess. But, like, we should go to Moab and we should rent some off-roading vehicles, like the small ones, like the Mavericks and shit, and then like the KRXs. We did that last time we went, me and my friend.
Yeah.
And we went off-roading and rock crawling. Dude.
Yeah.
It is a blast. It is so cool.
Alright, sounds good.
And this is probably going to sound like trash on camera, but windshield wipers in a wash. I got new wipers and I just haven't even put them on yet. Dude, okay, here's what sucks. Just like a brief aside about the car. But for some reason, on a Fiesta, like the AutoZone, like the OEM pair of windshield wiper blades totals up to about $70.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
that's pretty expensive for some wiper blades. To be fair, they lasted me a year and a half.
Right.
Which is pretty good for. I'll give that a good run. That's a good run.
Life's a struggle.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's all about the type of car you like, I guess. But man, it's this was a good day for a drive too, because I'm glad. Look at how sunny it turned out.
I know.
Not expecting that.
That's Denver for you.
Was not expecting that. And again, this is shit that the camera can't see, unfortunately. But we're driving by like all these really cool cabins right now in this little valley in this drive we're going on, and I don't know. It makes me, first off, wonder where they're getting groceries, because we're about. I mean, they'd probably have to leave the mountains, drive like a solid 45 minutes, go into Golden, and be like,
yeah,
oh yeah.
That I could never live in the mountains. Even here, which, you know, compared to various other places in the Rockies, is not that remote or anything.
No, it's really not at all.
No,
like,
but it's still annoying. It'd still be annoying to live. And I don't like the isolation. I'm a city guy through and through. You know, I would get bored. And yeah, it's just not for me to live. Love visiting, definitely.
Which we gotta go camping at Rocky Mountain National again soon. That was a blast.
Yeah, well, you know, now's about the time I start looking and booking campsites. So
Yeah.
thanks for the reminder. I should really, maybe I'll do that later today, just because I don't have too much to do today. So
That's awesome. Yeah, all I'm doing the rest of the day is probably like, you know, music.
yeah, I'll do a little music, and I think I'm gonna download Final Cut. I was talking to Ray about that, because I have like the desire to start like shooting the YouTube videos, like that one I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that today.
How much is Final Cut?
I think it's like 2 only, so you know, it could be worse, definitely. And I don't need it to do too much, but I also don't want to get one so bare bones that if I want to progress, I can't.
Yeah,
I think this is kind of perfect, middle of the road.
Yeah, like iMovie seems very limited.
Yeah, but the thing I realized with my iMovie on, like, you know, my Mac came with something before Sierra, and I upgraded to Sierra. And apparently there's a glitch with that iMovie and Sierra, and so whenever I upload, everything looks really saturated, and it's like nothing I can do about it. So, kind of F'd in the A right there.
F'd in the A.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, start working on those.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I've opened iMovie once so far. Like
On your new Mac.
yeah, like once.
I'm sure your iMovie is really nice and usable, and like obviously try that first if you ever have the desire to video edit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not gonna spend a lot of money for a while. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, dude, why are MacBooks so expensive? Like, yeah, I get it, they're well built. Yeah, that's probably the only reason why they're well built. High demand for them too.
Right. You can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
But
because once people go MacBook, you're kind of, they're like Apple in general, you're kind of stuck with them and their system and cloud.
yeah.
Because when I transferred over to like Android and Google, much different. Well, but also I kind of liked it more.
Well, I mean,
The infrastructure's better.
I have an Android phone, so I use Google Cloud for that. And you know what? As far as the Apple Cloud, I'm not even sure if I dabble in that just because my Mac is so old.
Yeah, my Mac is all about it.
Yeah,
it's all about like, oh, we want to use the cloud, but don't worry, it's private and nobody can see it.
Yeah, but like, you know, if you ever lose your Mac, I guess you could get a new one and like get everything re-downloaded.
Yeah, but configuring what you want in the cloud seems to be a bit of a task. Like, I haven't been able to like intuitively figure that out.
Sure, yeah.
And then it just keeps on yelling at me like, your cloud storage is full. Do you want to buy more? No, not really.
Huh, it's already full.
Yeah, because it's just like, all it does is immediately is just like, I'm going to back up everything. And then it's like, wait, I can't. You didn't pay enough money.
Yeah.
Huh. And so you can kind of tell it's Apple trying to set a little trap for people who are like, wait, I need more cloud storage for this to work? Like,
I guess I'll stick to my external.
yeah, I mean, that's what I use. I've got a terabyte external. Like, that's all you need. You know? Like, as long as it's got a good read speed and write speed, which mine has a good, decent amount, I guess. Because remember how, like, okay, so when I was trying to use, like, the migration assistant, that's, like, you know, Apple tool, like, Apple made and stuff, it said it would take 18 hours to get things transferred over.
Yeah, you told me.
So I didn't do that. I actually just decided to switch to hardware, like a hard drive and external shit. And it took me like 2 hours. Even though Wi-Fi should theoretically go quicker. And it would also only theoretically be limited by the read speed of the hard drive, but clearly it was being limited by something else. I don't know. It was kind of annoying. It's kind of really annoying. But what can you do? I mean, they tried to make something intuitive and work, but you know, it didn't work, and still I give them kudos. Probably helps, like, you know, the several thousand like old folks that get a MacBook that are like, this is gonna be easier than Windows, like, because marketing.
Yeah.
But,
ooh, that is a nice view.
right?
Mm.
This is like one of the coolest parts of the drive right here. And again, unfortunately, viewers can't watch this, but like, it is like, we're like along like this really nice little cliff of like I don't know if you'd call this a valley or canyon, but at this part, but I'd probably call it a valley.
Yeah, it's more valley-like.
And it's gorgeous. I'll give it to nature right here. It is gorgeous. You know what'd be really awesome is like going to the Black Canyon right now.
At Gunnison?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a far drive.
It is, but like, have you ever been there in the winter?
Yeah. In the winter, no.
So
the North Ridge in the summer.
My buddy and I have been to the Black Canyon in the winter and snowshoed around like the rim trail that goes a little bit into the canyon.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. I mean, literally a gorge that is gorgeous.
Nice.
It's something else. I mean, the nature, and it's also really eerie. Like, you ever go into like nature and then you kind of just run into those like really eerie moments? Like maybe you're all alone and something just feels weird, or like,
I think some of the eeriest moments is when you're like out in the woods and all you have is like the moonlight, and it's at night and everything looks like washed out in gray and whatnot.
Oh, so scientific explanation for that. At night, our night vision is heavily dependent on our rods and cones, and our rods, not our cones, and our rods and our eyes are really only good at black and white. So we're basically only seeing in black and white at night.
Yeah, no, that's totally true, and it's freaky looking.
Yeah.
Like, you look at like a mountainside, it's like, I don't know, it looks so barren and desolate and lonely.
Or like,
so those are some creepy, when I think of like creepy experiences in nature, that's what I think of.
You know, another really creepy one is like when you're, say, like in Glenwood Springs, for example, and you're just like in a big old bowl of mountains, right? And it's nighttime, and you're just like trying to look around, and all you see is like the big ass silhouettes of mountains, and just like really imposing.
Yeah, imposing is another word.
Yeah.
But speaking of that time I was at Black Canyon, so it was the first time I saw a bear ever in live, you know, not in a zoo. And it was like we were on the North Ridge, and we come around this bend, and it's just like running across the road, kind of diagonally away from us. So, you know, running away, and it didn't look that big. I wouldn't say it's a cub, but it also didn't look like fully grown. Then again, it was a black bear, so I'm not positive how like large they get. I think they get a little larger than what I saw, but obviously nowhere close to a grizzly or anything. And then later that evening, we were dispersed camping, and I'm not sure if I told you the story before or not, but I'm going to repeat it here. So we were found this like clearing off the road in the middle of nowhere, clearing surrounded by trees, and we were like, all right, we're gonna come back here, and after we do our stuff during the day. We get back pretty late, and the sun's like already down pretty much, and it's getting really dark. So take out my chairs, throw them down, we start unpacking, and then all of a sudden, like, I hear this rustling in the trees, in the bushes, maybe like 15 feet or 20 feet away by that point, not that far at all. And I like stand up, and I have this like wide sweeping flashlight, and Rihanna can see me tense up, my fiance, and she's like, what is it? And I was like, didn't say anything at first, and I'm like swathing the trees with the flashlight, and all of a sudden I hit this big black face with the yellow eyes that I illuminate with my light, and I'm just like, Rihanna, get in the car. And so she knows what's up, and like, so we go in, and whatever we had unpacked right then, we're just fucking ditching. Yeah. Because like rustling, and there was like a lot of rustling too. And so I turn the car on, throw it in reverse, and I back up and like hit the road like, and then all of a sudden, right outside the window, I see this big black cow.
What?
It's a fucking cow, and there are like 10 other cows behind it, and they're all pitch black. It's not like white, black, typical cow, and it was just like, and like, they just go trampling through like what's gonna be our campground, like, and it was, the relief was super palpable, and I don't know, it was like one of the funniest things, because we honestly thought it was a bear, maybe multiple bears, but it was just a fucking herd of cows, and it like scared us to death. So that's always a good memory. But we spent the rest of the night still paranoid about the bears, and so we'd like blast the music because we knew we were close to nowhere, close to no one, and we're like, yeah, I don't think bears would approach us with like music blasting.
Nah, they're typically afraid of like the human noises.
Right, but yeah, that was a funny experience.
Yeah, I've had some up in like the place where I'm normally camping, which is like kind of by like Walden.
Yeah.
It's well, I mean, you go to sleep at night, and I don't know if they're coyotes or wolves, but like you just hear them everywhere, like just howling and stuff, and you're just like, oh my goodness. And like you hear them like circling around the camp, sort of. It feels like, at least.
Yeah.
And who knows? Dude, yeah, it's pretty warm here.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, shit gets freaky, dude. Like, I mean, nature's, if you're really out in the wild out in Colorado, you're really out in the wild.
Oh yeah, it's dangerous.
You ever been in like the wilderness, like the straight up wilderness?
I mean,
like staying overnight and shit?
I mean, you know, we backpacked, like, we followed a trail, but you know, it's not like we came to like already ready-made campsite. We backpacked to a lake, so I guess that's the most, but we're definitely in the middle of nowhere to that respect.
Yeah, and I mean, was it designated a wilderness area?
I guess I don't know. I guess I'm not positive what that actually means.
Maybe like Bureau of Land Management, I don't know, but like, it just basically means like the type of land it is. Like wilderness is like, you know, it has different rules than BLM, you know, Bureau of Land Management stuff, and there's just different types of property. Like, I mean, it's like choosing between private property and like public open space, and like Bureau of Land Management and like wilderness. They're just all different things.
Yeah, we humans gotta designate everything.
Yes, we must categorize. Nature is not just nature.
Nope.
We must categorize. I like this little like community center right here. We're driving by this little community center. It's kind of like a cute little place.
Yes.
It is a cute little place.
Ooh, line dance class, Friday, 7 to 9.
Oh, dude, fuck me up.
Doing it. There's this like Cuban restaurant that we used to live by on Grant that does salsa lessons weekly. Probably not now, you know, but it did before COVID. And we always wanted to do that. But
Salsa.
Tango rose in the mouth.
I've in grade school I remember we learned like ballroom dancing. It was interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. It was like something that everyone did in our grade school. Everyone. We had like, you come to 8th grade and it's like ballroom dance time.
So were you waltzing?
Yeah.
To 3/4?
Yeah.
Ah, all right. Well, that might be a good transition into talking about different time signatures. You know, I know.
I don't really dabble with anything.
Yeah, I
other than
guess
4/4.
maybe this will be a short conversation.
Yeah.
It's just popular time.
I mean, 4/4 is just so bread and butter.
Yeah, totally.
So bread and butter. And like everybody understands it, so it's really good, in my opinion.
I really enjoy when bands or artists, whatever, will do songs in, you know, atypical time signatures. I tried to write a song in 3/4, and I've written a few, but sometimes I kind of just fall into it, and it's something you kind of need to fall into. Where if you're starting like, I'm going to write a song in 3/4, it's more difficult than I thought it would be to find something that sounds natural, as opposed to sounding like you're just missing a beat every measure. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't, but
It depends on how well it's executed. Like,
sure. I
you
mean,
know, there's like, it's like the same with classical music. Like, there's stuff that sounds really good and stuff that doesn't. Like,
I'm just talking about me as like being the writer. You know, it's like it's difficult to find a good melody that fits in 3/4 that doesn't sound truncated. You know, it sounds natural over the 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, as opposed to being like, oh, this is a 4/4 song, but you just took out this measure and now it sounds like it's ending prematurely every measure.
What's that one song from the Nutcracker that, like, this is like the primo example that I'm thinking of for a 3/4 song. It's like da na 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 na, like da na 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 na. Like, that's like the perfect example of a 3/4 song that just works so well.
Oh yeah, no, totally. There are a lot of great examples. I don't know if I'd be able to think of one off the top of my head, but yeah,
I think it's like Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies or something.
Mm-hmm.